Mixed results for some of the Caribbean's best players at the Cayman Squash Open last evening. In the men's draw, Cayman's Myron Blair loses to top-ranked Barbadian Sean Simpson. Let's take a look at the highlights as Myron enters the court to a loud cheer from his home crowd, facing the skillful Bajan. The packed house watched as Myron tries to upset Simpson. Blair makes a bright start, pushing Simpson all the way in a tight first game, before Sean settles to win that first game 14-12. Simpson steps on the accelerator in the remaining matches, closing out the straight game's victory in an exciting 22 minutes. 14-12, 11-3, 11-6. Blair still smiling after his chance at playing at the top level while Simpson advances. To the Camana Bay showpiece, the crowd got settled in last night for the nightcap game between Caribbean champ Nicol David and Malaysia's Delia Arnold. Arnold enters for what would be a marathon against the comeback kid Fernandes, who jumped out to a quick 2-games-to-love lead and looked to be in firm control before Arnold battles back to even the games at 2 games apiece. She then went on to wrap up the tough deciding final game for a 5-set victory for the Malaysian, 10-12, 3-11, 11-6, 11-4, 11-7. No joy for the second year running for the Caribbean champion, being bounced out in the second round. The high-level competition continues tonight with some of the top players trying to advance to the main draw, which starts tomorrow night at Camana Bay. World number 2 Jenny Duncalf hits the court tonight against Australia's Donna Urquhart. Cayman's Jake Kelly meets tournament favorite Colin Ramastra of Trinidad and Tobago, before former world number 1 and last year's losing finalist Natalie Granger faces Isabel Storr. Moving on to the top flight now for the women's. Also happy to be back is world number 1 Nicol David. The defending women's champion is excited about competing in the Caribbean once again. We caught up with her training with the Mexican Samantha Terran yesterday, and Nicol was once again impressed with the warm Cayman hospitality.
It just feels like home as well, you know, coming back with familiar faces and everyone's just inviting us so nicely. It's going to be a whole different game on the Camana Bay with the glass court, so it's going to be even more exciting, and I'm sure the crowd is going to just love the venue and the players as well.
So the squash action heads over to Camana Bay, but you can go out tonight at 6:30 and watch some of those matches on exhibition at the South Sound Court for free. And tomorrow's evening's matches start at 6:30 as well. Cayman's junior netballers are competing at the Caribbean Netball Association Jean-Pierre Under-16 Championship ongoing in Barbados. The team has put up some gutsy performances against the more experienced Caribbean teams, but so far they've found no joy. On Sunday, they lost to St. Kitts 28-12 and then went down to Bermuda in a close game last night, 24-18. Today is a rest day for the competition before action resumes tomorrow. And before we go this evening, organizers and sponsors from this year's Irish Jog hand over a check for more than $10,000 to 2 local charities after this year's race: the Cayman Islands Diabetes Association and the Diabetic Support Group, benefiting from the race last month on St. Patrick's Day. More than 1,000 runners, walkers and joggers, including Vanessa, doing their part to raise funds for a good cause.